You all. Good to see you all. Welcome back. Welcome back to campus. Excited to be here. Brand new semester, brand new year. If I could just take a moment though, I'd like to keep it lighthearted at the beginning of these presentations and had a couple 2020 jokes, good riddance to 2020 and so forth, but we're not off to a great start in 2021. And we have a lot of changes going on in this world, and it's concerning. It's concerning raising a couple daughters and a son in this kind of climate. And this is just my opinion, one person's opinion. Sometimes I don't know if it really matters who leads our country, who is in the Senate, who's in the House, who's our governor, and so forth. Civility, treating each other with respect, has to be a grassroots effort. And we can do our part on our campus to demonstrate respect and to demonstrate a civil discourse with people across our campus. And so, not only in response to the events yesterday and ongoing events, we're going to continue to discuss and have ramp up our efforts in civility and on our campus. And it just happens today that Lavelle stopped by and let me know that there is going to be a civility summit March 25th. I got that right. March 25th on our campus here that I hope we all partake in. And I think we can do a lot in our little part of the world here. And so please keep our campus, keep our country in your thoughts and prayers as we continue to move forward. Okay, so I didn't mean to start that on a downer because I got my slide deck is full of accolades for this fantastic university and the fantastic people that work at this university. But before we go on to talk about the people, and we go on to talk about important things like accreditation and academics and research and so forth, we got to cut right to the quick, and the most important thing is cocoa and cocktails and what's happening with that event at our university. And because of COVID, we're not going to be able to do that this year, this month. We postponed it. We did put together, and a memo I guess went out where we sent out all this information, where we do have a gift for full-time faculty and staff that will be picked up at my office, and come by and get it. I think those are coming in by the 19th. So we give you about a little bit over a month to come and pick up your gift. We make a commitment that come fall, that we are going to resurrect or have a fall picnic after the fall assembly. It may be a grab and go, I don't know yet. Lord knows what's going to happen over the next 8 months. But we're committed to get our campus community together as much as we possibly can. And then we'll try to hit it again. And I don't know why this strikes me odd, but the next Cocoa and Cocktails may be 2022. Man, that's unbelievable. But we're committed to have these type of events, and again, have the fellowship and the collegiality on our campus. The reopen plan for the spring 2021 semester is now posted under Healthy Lions on the website. Not a lot of changes to that plan. Kind of staying the course. If you talk to Dr. Humphreys, the academic affairs side of the house, John, it sounds like we're staying the course with a mixture of online, hybrid, face-to-face classes, and really looking to the faculty to decide what works best in your particular scenario, your particular situation. Okay? So, not a lot of changes, but a couple changes I just want to make note. Okay? We were one of the schools in the A&M system that required students demonstrate and hand us a document that says, I received a negative test after they had been tested positive for COVID. Okay? Even though the data, in a lot of cases, these students would, after the disease had run its course, continue to test positive for weeks and months after they were asymptomatic. And so we decided in this fourth bullet here, that not only do they have to obtain a negative test, well, they can obtain a negative test or they can get a note from their family physician or family health professional to get out of isolation. But what we're still sticking true to is they still need a negative test, documentation of a negative test before we let them back in the classroom. See the intricacy there? Out of isolation with a doctor's note or a health professional's note or a negative test, but still requiring a negative test before they're allowed back in the classroom. Under the quarantine section of the document, CDC has changed their recommendations on quarantine and the time of quarantine. Everything else remains the same except, excuse me, the quarantine has now dropped from 14 days to 10 days. And based upon CDC, based upon local health authorities, based upon the Texas A&M University system, this is going to be our guideline for the spring 2021 semester. Quarantine is now at 10 days instead of 14 days. Okay? All else being the same. I threw this slide up here because this was a slide that found itself in the reopened plan and during the fall semester, fall assembly. And I just bring this to light saying in the highlighted area, remote office, flexible house hours or staffing, okay? This is a good time at the start of the spring semester for supervisors and employees to have a discussion about what works best for your particular situation, whether that's working from home, flex hours, working in the office, whatever that may be. I urge you to have that discussion. And supervisors, I urge you to now resurrect that discussion again for the spring semester, so we keep all of our Lions healthy, safe, and productive, okay? And then finally, just a reassurance that we have our Emergency Operations Center that is constantly evaluating, looking at data from the county, from the state, from the campus, and so forth, and assessing that data to see if we need to change our operations, our procedures at our university in order to respond to any kind of outbreak or whatever that may be, again, to create a safe and healthy environment on our campus. Again, we are committed to do that. We are committed to keep our Lions safe and healthy. And a little bit more on that in the future here. Excuse me. This is really, I wanted to make this announcement because this is one of the things I'm really happy about, okay? Much in the line of TAFE and some of a faculty group like TAFE, we recently established the first ever Latino faculty and staff organization. Fred, what's the name of that particular? Latino faculty and staff organization. I got to get on my game here. I'm going to get into a groove here, and we're going to. Oh man. Okay. So, but I'm really excited about this because this is a group of folks across campus that will begin to focus on making sure that our Latino, Hispanic faculty and staff have representation at key events, decisions, opportunities on our campus. Also, it's set up to empower our Latino and Hispanic professionals on our campus, and then also work to ensure and work towards helping the university achieve its diversity, equity, and inclusion goals. Okay? I can't tell you how excited I am about that. We have two leaders of that group. One is Dr. Robert Rodriguez, who is the faculty president of this group, and Dr. Fred Fuentes, who is the staff president of this group. And it's off to a great start. I attended the first meeting, the kickoff meeting in October, had over 50 people attend that. A second meeting was held in November, and the numbers held. And so I really look forward to working with this group on our campus. So Fred and Dr. Rodriguez, if you're out there, and everyone else involved in that, thank you so much. Just a quick shout out. I think I told this story before. My daughters and I attended a play here. We attend many plays here. We attended a play here in the past, and it was fantastic. It was great entertainment. And again, we were walking out of there, after the event, and I said, I don't ever want to hear you say there's nothing to do in commerce, because there's plenty to do in commerce. And here's just another example of a fine production that our faculty and staff and students put on for the university and for the community. And I wanted to bring this to your attention because I'm really proud of our Department of Theater for being so innovative. Because if you looked at the slate of fall events, fall productions, they were held virtually and face-to-face. And I wanted to give a shout out to this group, first of all, for being so innovative, but also acknowledge that we have at least 2 more productions coming, one in February and one in April, that I hope you take advantage of and I hope you honor, and you will not be disappointed. So Department of Theater, thank you very much for everything. Okay, new faces, new positions, okay? We have a new slate of faculty on our campus that have joined us sometime in that fall type 21 or 20 timeframe. Excited about having you here. Great to have new blood infused into the university. And you look at the slate of universities and entities that these faculty come from, very impressive. We also have a new slate of new staff on campus that are here to help our students, here to help our faculty and staff, and oftentimes form the backbone of our university. So a hearty welcome to the new people that are now gracing the halls of A&M Commerce, and we're so proud and happy to have you here as Lions. I wanted to do a special shout out to a new a new staff member who will be heading up our international programs and services. And Pri Roussel, am I not pronouncing that, John Roussel?
Just go
Pri, I know. Pri, who joins us from Texas A&M University San Antonio, and was an associate director down there, and brings a bundle of energy to this position. And we'll begin, I believe, in sometime in the March kind of time frame. An outstanding person, very, very skilled person, speaks 4 different languages, one of them Nepalese, which is very handy because we have so many of our graduate students and international students are from Nepal, and it'll be just handy to have that skill set in the toolkit for this individual. And she is just talking about many programmatic things that are very exciting and what that office needs to be successful. Okay? I want to go down the list of other folks across the university. We have a new Student Government Association president, Jasmine Williams, who is a dynamo. If you have not interacted or attended a SGA meeting, please do. They are a wonderful group to work with. They ask great questions. They are great representatives of the student body. Please interact with those individuals. Jasmine's going to be an outstanding leader of that group. I also wanted to give a shout out to Dr. Ballinger, again continues to serve as our Faculty Senate President. It also gives me an opportunity to acknowledge Dr. Ballinger received national recognition from the International Council of Professors in Educational Leadership, receiving the 2021 Living Legend Award from that organization that will be actually conferred in August, sometime in August in Colorado. But it's an outstanding award. It recognizes people that serve as great mentors and model genuine care and ethics in the service of education. Again, national recognition for a very fine faculty member at our university and a great leader at our university. Mr. Wonderful, Brian McGinley, is now serving as the president of Staff Council. I certainly look forward to working with Brian. Erica Contreras. Erica is serving as a coordinator of the BUG unit, the BUG group, Budget Users Group, which is a collection of administrative assistants, budget officers, and other administrative personnel at the university that disseminate, interact, talk about budget financial issues at this university. Whenever we have a issue or a situation or something that we need to reach out to the campus for, a policy, whatever that may be. The go-to groups are typically Faculty Senate, Staff Senate, SGA. Well, I told this group at the last meeting that I'm committed to add a fourth group, the bug group, as a sounding board to some of these things that we ask the campus to consider. And they embrace that. I'm excited that they want to be part of that. We also see these folks as important people at this university that oftentimes have the pulse on what's going on at our university. And we should tap into that expertise and know-how for the benefit of them and the university. So I look forward to working with the bug group starting now and in the future. And Erica leads that group. Okay, so a little bit of a little swagger, a little great things going on at our university. This isn't out quite yet. I think it'll come out in U.S. News and World Report in January 26th, I believe. But we are once again recognized as a national and ranked as a national university in that publication. That is a big deal. Last time I saw it, I didn't see the 26 data, the 2021 data, but in 2020, we were one of 4 schools in the Texas A&M system that were actually recognized, acknowledged as a national university. That is a big deal. But what's interesting is look at our ranking from last year to this year and how those have changed over a 1-year period. And look at things like best online graduate education programs, a jump of 31 slots in the rankings in the nation, okay? And also best online program, social mobility, 165 to 106. That is the whole social mobility, being this institution that gives the student that maybe comes from a lower socioeconomic situation, give them the shot to transform their lives to be successful. That is right in our wheelhouse, and I hope that we continue as a faculty, staff, and university to continue push programs that move the dial on our ability to be the social mobility agent for our students. And this is a very promising sign here. And of course, we are always recognized for our online undergraduate programs. We have a firm leadership position and ranking. I think we're like 37th or 39th in the nation, and that continues to hold even in the 2021 data. So again, this is something, sometimes when I give orientations to new students and talk to parents and so forth, I didn't talk about stuff like this, and I'm thinking, what the heck? We are a great university. We are a nationally recognized university, and we should tout that. So you're going to be hearing more and more about this as time goes on. Speaking of College of Education, National Council of Teacher Quality, you've probably heard this through the press, but it begs to be told again, received A grade for classroom management, which is incredibly important. And you may think, okay, I don't know how, for the non-education person, yeah, classroom management is pretty important. But when I go out and talk to principals and superintendents, classroom management always seems to be on the tip of their tongue, how important that is. How important it is that you create an environment where your students can be successful. And no one does it better than us. No one there's only a handful of programs that receive this letter grade under classroom management. So congratulations, Kimberly and the College of Education and Human Services for a great job, well done. And let's continue that trend moving forward. Advancement, which is now called, name change, Philanthropy and Engagement. Okay, so no longer the Office or Division of Advancement, it's now Philanthropy and Engagement, is rocking it this year. We are doing really well. $5.1 million total fundraising year to date, and that number is actually the highest number annually that our institution has ever had. Most money in cash that we've ever brought in, and we're only 3 or 4 months into this year, okay? Now, Kateri always warns me, don't get too excited about that, because the ebb and flow of philanthropic activities is very noticeable, and sometimes that number will go up, sometimes that number will go down. But she also showed me a graph, and I didn't put it in here, that, yeah, the fundraising graph does do this, but Katuri's group is moving it this way, okay? The overall trend is positive. And I'll tell you what, Ray Garvin and the folks in Planned Giving are also rocking it here with 2 large endowments that we just received through Planned Giving, through the Sutherland and the Duro Planned Gift. 2 big gets for this university. So philanthropy and engagement, great job. Let's continue to move that ball forward. We also seem to be doing really well recently in the grant game. These are just 4 grants that I like to just acknowledge and highlight. And by the way, there's a lot of words on these slides. Linda, I think we need to post this on the website, so if people want to take a step back, and I'm not covering everything on the slides. But very exciting. And I'm not going to highlight this because I tend to want to keep my spring remarks kind of short. But if you look at our strategic plan, and I don't have a strategic plan portion of this presentation, but the next item up, the next goal up that I would love to talk about, and probably do it in the fall, is alignment with the community. Community partnerships, okay? Community partnerships, we are doing a great job in increasing those, okay? Whether that's through MOUs, whether that's through partnerships and these grant opportunities. For example, Jose in the first grant up there is doing this work in partnership with WT, West Texas A&M, and Texas A&M AgriLife. And if you take a look at Will Newton and the group, establishing a Phys Tech Regional Center, being a leader in physics education, teacher education. That grant is in partnership with UT Rio Grande Valley, University of Houston, and Texas State University. It's exciting to see not only A&M Commerce having a leadership role, but A&M Commerce partnering with these various entities to move important agendas forward, okay? And I'll talk about this last one, this competency-based education grant, a little bit in the future here. We give a acknowledgement to our students now. Rebecca Preston won a undergraduate presentation at the American Physical Society, Bayesian inference of neutron star crust properties using neutron skin constraints. And that's just a coincidence because Rhonda Ferguson and I were talking about what kind of models we should use to calculate the neutron skin of calcium-48 and lead-208. And this just happened to pop up as an attaboy. So that really, really impressive. But also we had other students, Flint Morgan and Amber Stinson, that presented. But Rebecca came away with hardware and won the Best Undergraduate Presentation Award. So great job, Rebecca. And thank you so much, Dr. Newton, for all the mentorship and guidance you have provided over the years, and especially for these 3 students as they pursue their academic career and research opportunities. Emma Anderson's arts display. She's an art student, Honors College. As part of her honors thesis, she developed this piece of artwork, public artwork, and it's now displayed. You can see her here standing next to John Freeman, who's the postmaster at the Commerce Post Office. It's proudly displayed, her piece of art is proudly displayed at the Commerce Post Office. Brian Weaver was a faculty member that worked with her, and just an outstanding young woman, and a great opportunity. I'm a big fan of public art. And Bill, we got to figure out a way to ramp this up, continue to ramp this up here. But again, alignment with the community, leveraging the resources, the expertise we have for the benefit of the community. But we also have successes on the athletic and playing field. But let me tell you a little bit about this. This is an initiative by our athletic department, Make It Important initiative, where they, again, you see the theme here, where the athletic department talked about how do we engage in service and partnership with the community. How do we do that? And I think it's safe to say, Tim, that this is a student-led initiative. The genesis of this were from our students. And so many neat things came out of this. Just some of the items that were covered in this Make It Important, board members and legislators and other government officials to understand the political process and understand their importance to walk into that voting booth, and that's their right to do that. Okay? Engaging with the police, university police, and Chief Vaughn, and having those type of serious discussions and interactions, making sure that they create an environment where it's all inclusive in the athletic department. And not only did this group of our fine student athletes put this together, they also took the show on the road and tried to encourage other schools within the conference to adopt this. Well, lo and behold, the NCAA stood up and took notice of what they did, and now they're a finalist for an award that I think will be announced at the NCAA convention sometime this month. So keep your fingers crossed. But regardless, whether they win that award or not, they are winners on our campus, and again, are indicative of the type of student we have gracing the halls of our campus. So Tim, everyone in the athletic department, good job on this, okay? But this is even more important to me. I got to do this also. This is also from athletics. 3.21 GPA for the fall 21 semester. Outstanding, okay? And Judy, I have to figure out how we get, and John, how we get this data for the student body and so forth, because the student athlete is just a snapshot or a microcosm of the entire student body. But we often forget. I don't think we forgot the trials and tribulations and the difficulties some of our students had during the fall semester because of the pandemic. We had the infrastructure, we had the people, and we had the stick-to-itness of our student athletes in place to achieve this during a very difficult time. So congratulations. This is another thing the buttons on my shirt burst when I see something like this. So again, thanks for everything, athletics. Okay, quickly, the 87th upcoming legislative session. That was not much of a segue, was it? Just get out of there, let's go right to legislative session. You've seen this slide before. You know that we had a 5% give back this past year, and that 5% give back is going to be carried into the next fiscal year. So we'll start the fiscal year at 95% of our state money budget that we had last year. And we all went through that budget reduction exercise. We took every precaution we possibly could to preserve jobs, and I think we did a pretty darn good job in doing that. That was job number one, okay? This is going to be our legislative agenda for the university. We're going to ask for a restoration of that 5%. Please give us our 5% back. Institute for Competency-Based Education has always been a go-to agenda item for our legislative agenda. Going to ask for that. Over in the College of Ag, Natural Resources, we have a quail restoration initiative that we're going to ask for some money. And then we continue to keep our Ag Education Research Center TRB on the table, along with a ADA type of ask in our tuition revenue bonds. This is a robust ask. We don't have a good handle right now on how the legislative session is going to go, if we're going to get any of these things. I hear the gamut. No TRBs. Or, hey, everything could, TRBs are a possibility. Maybe the state can use it as a stimulus package to kickstart the economy again. Don't ask for any non-formula items to, maybe you can ask for one. Decide on the one you want. So a lot of mixed messages. We'll see how that carries out, but this is what we're going to carry forward to our representatives and to our visits to the Capitol, maybe virtual visits to the Capitol. We did utilize a voluntary separation program to save some money. I did want to mention this. We intentionally held back about $720,000 for faculty and staff retention, including merit. And this is what I told you all in the fall assembly, okay? We have gotten word that hold off on merit. Do not award merit yet until we see how we come out of the legislative session. And I think there was some discussion across campus saying, hey, Mark told us we were going to get merit in spring. Legislative session doesn't start till spring. So we have to figure out where we are in terms of enrollment, where we are in terms of formula, and where we are in terms of the spring legislative session before we can award merit. And the system is not all that excited about granting institutions the ability to award that merit at this time. So we continue to stay the course, keep our fingers crossed, hope enrollment holds, hope the formula holds, and we are able to award, and rightly so, merit to our valuable faculty and staff across campus. Even though merit's not allowed, we have been using some money for market adjustments and those type of things. But we will let you know as soon as we possibly can, Tina, that when merit is going to be back on the table and open for discussion, okay? 1,000 student credit hours. We need to do a little bit more work here to preserve that because, again, this is going to be our census year for the formula, and we'll see how we come out. So we have to continue to work hard with our student success teams and Nichelle and her group to be able to continue to ramp and get more students here for the spring semester. We still have a little bit of time to do that. So we will be sure to let you all know what our numbers look like come 20th day or before the 20th day. I do want to, again, I seem to do this every time, and Jennifer Schrader and her folks are probably tired of hearing this, but our graduate college is doing a bang-up job in the graduate education. We are actually up over 8% in our graduate students. And that'll bode well in the formula funding because it's not only student credit hours, but it's weighted student credit hours, and the graduate students weight that a bit more. Okay, but we are up, still struggling a little bit, and Nichelle and I seem to talk about this every day. If you look at our freshmen, we're still down about 193 students. Every school is facing this. Every school still has this jittery prospective student and mom and dad and family base that are deciding, do I want to send my kiddo to school or not at this time? There are these unprecedented times. And every school is dealing with this. Everyone's worried about this bubble of the freshman class and how it's going to work its way through freshman, senior, through senior year. And so we continue to keep a close eye on that. Okay, we identified a number of initiatives laid out that we're going to work on for this academic year, pandemic or no pandemic. And we continue to work on these initiatives, and I just wanted to give you brief updates on those. Again, I have a lot of words on these slides. I'm going to try to get through these fairly quickly here. But if you remember, we had, these are verbatim, the initiatives we laid out in the fall semester. Stay healthy, communication, transparency, Isd Outreach, and so forth. And I'm not sure why Sharon Kowalski's in this picture. I just like that picture, so I threw it in there. And then additional initiatives with Sarah Baker in her work shoes on the farm, gracing our screen here. So we laid out a pretty rigorous, pretty robust agenda for 2021. And so if I go back, the first item was stay healthy. And I just wanted to give you a quick snapshot of some data as of January 3rd. Total students in isolation/quarantine since March 2020, about 248, which essentially means 254 positive tests for our students for COVID, okay? And 248 students in isolation, in quarantine. But the average weekly numbers for the fall semester for our students in isolation and quarantine were only in about 60 active cases at any moment in time, and 24 students actively, that's maybe not the right word, but in quarantine at any moment in time. And that 65 is a tad misleading because our students weren't really diligent in saying, okay, now I'm in isolation, let me see if I can go get a test and get out of isolation. So oftentimes when I looked at the data from week to week, that number is 65. Yeah, there were 65 students in isolation, but about 20, 30 of them were awaiting negative tests to get out of isolation. And then total faculty and staff in isolation and quarantine since August, about 42, and then 83 in quarantine. So at the end of the day, when I look back at April, May, June of 2020, and we were looking into the fall semester, please understand, I don't like one positive case. I don't like one person in quarantine. But these are not bad numbers compared to maybe hundreds and thousands of cases at other universities. It was a group joint effort, a lot of hard work to try to keep our campus and our classrooms and our residence halls as safe as possible. We accomplished that goal when those numbers are all zero, but we approached that goal when the numbers are at that low. So congratulations to everyone there. Also, stay healthy. The system has done a tremendous job in supporting our university. I'll tell you what, I do have to make this shout out. Ever since the pandemic started, the Texas A&M University system has been nothing but a great partner in helping the system schools, regional schools like A&M Commerce, College Station, work through this pandemic. Through guidance documents, through communications, through give and take. They were an incredibly important, valuable partner, and I cannot give them enough kudos for everything they have done to help us out there. One of the ways they helped us out is they gave each of the schools, free of charge, not only the test kits, but also the processing and the evaluation of the test kits, COVID testing. And we received many of these per month. And since we received those, and I guess this number is probably good from the start of the fall semester, we have administered 3,500 tests, I take that back. Since March, 3,500 tests. Since for the fall, 2,800 tests. Food deliveries daily average. When we have students or faculty or staff in quarantine that are on campus or close to campus, we have people dedicated to make sure they get 3 square meals a day, and that does not go unrecognized and will be recognized here in a little bit. Last one here. Fortunately, we have an EOC that are hoarders and outguessed the pandemic. And this is the central store of PPE. We have 116 gallons of hand sanitizer, 50,000 masks, and you can look at the data here. I think we are amply prepared to provide any kind of PPE to campus, parts of campus that actually need this. We're going to obey and continue to use guidance for room occupancy. We have 20 staff that are going around through sanitization efforts. Also important, from the get-go, when we went online or increased the number of classes online, we knew that we had students that had challenges in terms of technology and connectivity. And we have loaned out a lot of computers, loaned out a lot of hotspots to create that connectivity for our students and faculty and staff. And then we're currently right now in the position to be our student health center, to be a hub of the Pfizer vaccine, or probably the Pfizer, either Pfizer or Moderna. But there's a number of requirements you have to have in order to do that. And again, we're being proactive and already secured an ultra-low freezer to be able to house any kind of Pfizer vaccine that we can, to be able to be that local hub to provide that vaccine when the time is right and the allocation is right for our campus and for the community, and perhaps for a large part of Hunt County. Okay, Isd Outreach and Partnerships. Again, we have a very aggressive approach here, even though we say we had 45 visits. Some of those may have been virtual, some of those may have been face-to-face, but reaching out institutionally meaning me and Nichelle and other groups, going out to visit superintendents at ISDs to say, hey, we're here. How you guys doing? Here's how we're doing. We want your kids. Okay? And how do we do that? And we are in the process now of entering into MOUs with those various school districts. We have, speaking of MOUs, the College of Education has come in again very aggressively and created partnerships with these various organizations. I'm sure you saw press releases on this. I thought it was important to list them out again, of interacting with various superintendents and targeting underrepresented groups that will be able to help transform the lives of some of these students if they are aware and understand and can be admitted and enrolled at A&M Commerce. We think we can be that catalyst, we can be that game changer, and these organizations, based upon the good work of Kimberly McLeod and other folks, have bought into that also and are going to be incredibly important partners as we continue to move the university forward. But again, alignment with the community. No one does education better. Some schools may do it as well as us. No one teaches or prepares students better for education than we do. Okay? So let's walk the walk and let's tell our story, and the story's getting out that we do indeed do that. Nichelle has come in as a VP for enrollment management and really worked hard at examining all the various processes and how, more importantly, how we interact with prospective students and how we treat prospective students and how do we educate and communicate with prospective students. And there is probably paragraphs upon paragraphs under each of these bullets here of making sure that I'm a prospective student, that I know what the status of my application is, or I know what kind of financial aid I'm going to get, or I know what kind of scholarship I may get early on in the process, okay? That's what we're trying to accomplish here, is that there's a dialogue, partnership, interaction, trust between prospective students and the university, and a lot of information going back and forth. You can see here that, and this is something that all schools are dealing with right now, our fall 2021 applications, and we are in that process right now. We are recruiting and trying to get students enrolled for 2021. The applications are down 22%. But Nichelle, every school is facing this right now. Every school is worried about this right now. But if you notice, the hard work and the due diligence by Nichelle's group is perhaps right now, keep your fingers crossed, paying some dividends here, where actually our admits are up 8%, 430 more students right now that we're talking, interacting with to try to become Lions than they were than last year. That is good news to hear. And so we continue to move this ball forward and try to streamline everything we possibly can to make it, again, we're a great school. Let's get the students in here to transform their lives and make it as easy as possible. Okay? Hispanic Outreach Center, this has changed. This is where I got messed up, Fred. This is where I got messed up because I was looking at, this is a separate entity from the Latinx Faculty and Staff Initiative. It was obvious through my interactions with, and actually this came from recruitment and enrollment, where we had families, Hispanic Latino families come in that were coming in for orientation because their son or daughter or niece or nephew were coming in and they didn't speak a lick of English. And so how do you create a welcoming, inclusive environment for those folks? And we started to have breakout sessions, but we understood the need to have, perhaps create an office that is more welcoming to these students, more interactive with these students. It's a different type of interaction than other students at our university. How do we make mom and dad feel comfortable that they're dropping junior or whoever off at our university, and we have a climate that will make them successful? So we didn't call it a Hispanic Outreach Center. We changed the name to Office of Latinx Engagement and Outreach, and that's headed up by Dr. Fuentes, currently reporting through Student Affairs through Judy Sackfield. Some of the initiatives he's working on is assessing the needs of the Latinx students, develop academic boot camps, and continue this what I thought was wildly successful, these podcasts broadcast it out to everyone, but we had great attendance and great interaction with particularly our Latinx community here and in the DFW to learn more about the process of becoming a student at this university and challenges facing Latinx students that may want to come to our university. So I'm really excited about this also. Fred, we're going to make this successful because we're not going to grow Latinx enrollment here without this office being successful. So we'll help out any way we possibly can. Welcome Center, mentioned at the Fall Assembly. Things continue to move forward. It's been rebranded Student Services Building for now. Rebranded Student Services Building. Right now we have targeted a 2-story, 32,000 square foot building that will essentially, a little bit loosely, pick up the personnel and the Welcome Center and move them out there. And this building is really going to be put together to serve as the Welcome Center, the receiving unit where prospective students and families, guests to the university, immediately go to when they visit our university. Really excited about this particular initiative. We're in the process right now of submitting a program of requirements. We're putting it together, and we're going to submit that to the Board of Regents in May of 21. The cost looks to be about over everything besides the building, about $19.5 million. We're looking to put it, if this is the lake, the Garvin Lake, here's University Drive, here's the music building right here, right in front, right on the frontage road, okay? So when you turn into our university, it shouts, "Welcome to A&M Commerce." And it's going to be, hopefully, we're working on a very iconic, beautiful building that is very receiving and very accommodating to people that come and visit our campus, okay? We are in the process now of establishing, again, partnerships with the community colleges within Dallas, in the DFW area, okay? We are looking to establish academies, i.e. 2+2 programs. So if a student goes to Richland, or goes to El Centro, or goes to Eastfield for 2 years, we are actively recruiting them to finish their next 2 years at A&M Commerce, okay? And we're working hard. The deans of the College of Ag, Randy Harp, and Kimberly McLeod in Education, and Maria Hayek in the College of Business, are actively working on putting together these MOUs and these programs to create that pipeline of students to A&M Commerce. We have already established a Ag Academy with El Centro, which I wish I had a lot more time to talk to you about this, but this is going to be an urban ag initiative that deals with hydroponic gardens and those type of things, really cool stuff. And that's already been signed and enacted, and we're going to continue to move forward with that. We're closing in on a business and education MOU, or Academy MOU with these 3 schools. John, we hope to accomplish that probably sometime this spring, all of those, for implementation, immediate implementation in the fall. So I'd like to acknowledge the hard work of Lee Young. Dr. Young has taken the initiative on this and has been working this issue with Dallas College, okay? It was easy. This process we thought was going to be easy about a year ago. Oh, we'll reach out to Eastfield, we'll reach out to Richland, let's get these MOUs signed, until Dallas College combined into one unit. And all the infrastructure and everything had to flow through this one unit, and it ground to a screeching halt. But because of Lee's stick-to-itiveness, we are now making, again, back on track and making progress on this. So Dr. Young, thank you so much for that. Dallas, more to come. We have some big things in the works for Dallas. I've always told you that there's an expectation for our system, from our system and the A&M Board of Regents, that A&M Commerce increase its footprint in Dallas, and we're currently working on that. More to come on this in the future here. RELIS was also another important initiative, and it's kind of an important initiative not only for us because of enrollment management. This is an important initiative for the system, okay? This is kind of the system and the chancellor saying, this is a great idea, let's partner with Blinn College and let's create opportunities for students in partnership with Blinn College. And We have a BS in computer science. We were designated as the system school to offer computer science down in Rellis. And we have now received approval to have a BS in cybersecurity. And you sit down with Dean Donham, who's kind of heading this up, who gets all kinds of accolades from the system, because they know when I talk to the Vice Chancellor for Academic Affairs at the system, James Hallmark, he sings the accolades of this guy here. Always doing it right and setting the stage and creating the necessary infrastructure and supporting facilities and labs that support the instruction of our students and the research of our faculty down in Rellis. And again, partnerships. Brent, I think it's fair to say that the 2 faculty members we have assigned down in Rellis have been embraced by College Station, embraced by Rellis, embraced by the system, and I would venture to say because of their skill and how they've demonstrated their competency and expertise. And those are great accolades to have for those individual faculty members too. So Rellis seems to be heading, I would say it is heading in the right direction here. Thanks again, Brent, for all the work you've done there. We are continuing to explore innovative programs at the graduate level. Jennifer Schrader is working hard at this. Preliminary work has been done on an executive EDD in higher education. 4+1 programs are becoming increasingly in style here, and we're not going to be any kind of stranger to those programs. And then graduate certificate offerings, I just gave a couple examples under there. So again, thanks so much to the graduate college. Thanks so much for the academic colleges for thinking out of the box and trying to come up with strategic, quick, skill-building opportunities for prospective students and existing students that want to take advantage of it for a variety of different reasons. Expand our competency-based education. We are seen as, I would say we are seen as a national leader in CBE. I would say that we're seen as a statewide leader. We have Carlos Rivers, who is one of the people front and center in CBE at A&M Commerce, for example, was already invited to testify about competency-based education to the Texas legislative committees already in preparation for this current session coming up. We have 2 new programs coming up here. We already have organizational leadership as CBE. We also have criminal justice. Now we have 2 more coming up for the fall of 21 in safety and health services administration. Going back to this Greater Texas Foundation grant for over $750,000, and you can see it's to create enhanced success teams and really create the success team model to take a different type of student, in a true sense, a part-time student, and make them successful and help them progress through their degree. And that grant was a partnership between, of course, College of Innovation and Design, Office of Research, and Philanthropy and Engagement. And it really is the best of all 3 of those offices coming together and outcompeting other schools and getting a rather sizable award to help us out there. And then a Texas reskilling grant that we got from the coordinating board to move along CBE at our university. And then I just received a email from Yvonne, I believe, that talked about yet another grant that it looks like they're going to get. Yeah, Texas grant. And so we're getting there. We're working there. Great job, Yvonne. Great job, College of Innovation and Design. And speaking of College of Innovation and Design, I know Yvonne's going to kill me for this picture, but she was featured on Good Morning Texas. And I said, Yvonne, I don't know if we'll have time. And she was like, I want to do this, though. I want to do it. She didn't want to do it, really. I'm just kidding you. She'll kill me when she sees us up here, but she did a great job up there. So just great things going on. So I still have a little bit more after this because we still have to announce the service awards. And but I do want to say this has been very trying. We have a crazy world going on around us. And the only thing I'm certain about for the for this coming spring semester is you. That I trust you, I rely on you, hopefully you rely on me, that we're in this together. And we've got great, just by evidence of everything that was laid out here, and this is only a snapshot of everything we're doing here. We have great people at this university doing great things. I've never felt so confident in a campus of us being able to pull the spring semester off that I am right now. And so a lot of heavy lifting, a lot of hard work has been put into this, a lot of kids staying home from school, a lot of parents and our employees and our students have to be part-time student, part-time faculty, part-time caretaker, part-time errand person, or whatever that may be. Just a very hearty thank you for everyone that has done such a great job out there to get us where we need to be and set the stage for us to continue success down the road here. So thank you so much. I look forward to working with you for the spring semester, and I'd like to share with you some of a lot of the people that were part of our success as a campus in being able to do what we did during the fall semester. And so I'd like to take this time to identify the recipients. It gives me great honor to do this, I don't take this lightly, and I took the recommendations from the evaluation team, and you're going to see the great slate of people and great people that were involved and great teams that were involved in moving the university forward. So I will say this, the individuals that will be identified here will receive $1,000 and a plaque, okay? And our university processes and procedures are so efficient that I think we're already going to be, that's been processed, right? And they will receive that $1,000 on their next paycheck, right? For those folks that are on direct deposit, that will be already or I take that back, will be direct deposited into your account. If you don't have direct deposit and you are a recipient, then you need to go to HR and pick up a check. And they should have those checks ready by this week, maybe Friday? Yes. Okay. So again, direct deposit, you're going to find an extra, if you're an individual award winner, extra $1,000. Well, maybe about $12 after taxes, but $1,000 in your account, okay? And then if you're part of the team award and you're on that team, you will receive $200, okay? So without further ado, did I miss anything on that, Linda? Oh, individuals will get a plaque, okay? Okay, plaques will be delivered to their offices. Okay. Linda just said the certificates for the teams will go out by campus mail and you'll be a recipient of those. Okay, so the individual honors. Okay, first of all, Nikki Barnett, case specialist, campus life, and student development. You go on and on about Nikki. I think Nikki did 90% of her work after 9 o'clock at night. So outstanding job, Nikki. Kim Jeffries, processing manager, philanthropy and engagement. Annie Pincard, risk manager, campus operation and safety. Cindy Todhunter. I'm just kidding. That's great. Thank you for doing that. Cindy's great. And then Brian Vaughn, chief of police for our university. I know we only have about 30 people in here, but can we give a round of applause for those individuals? I'm so used to having the people come up and do pictures and so forth. There will be a time for that. It's just not right now. So congratulations to those individuals. We also have a contract vendor award. Not a university individual, but works for one of the many contractors for our university. And there's only one of these awards, still $1,000, but only one award. And that goes to Wendy Hildreth, for catering coordinator for Sodexo. So can you help me acknowledge that? And then the team awards. Again, whether there's 9 people or 30 people on these teams, each individual gets $200 and a certificate. Is that right? Yeah. Okay, you ready? First one, University Police Department. Outstanding job. That's a no-brainer. Great selection by the committee. Residential living and learning on the front lines. Congratulations, Michael Stark and that group. Student health services. I don't know if Maxine or Kelly are here, but great job. If you ever got your COVID testing, the only time, it always seems like when they're out there, it's either 1,000,000 degrees or they got heaters going. There's no comfortable temperature, so great job. Emergency Operations Center COVID-19 response team, good job. And then finally, student success teams. Again, thank you very much for everything. And I think that wraps it up. Again, thank you for everything you all have done. Really looking forward to this semester. Let's see if we can set an example and band together as a university to move us forward, and at the end of the day, ultimately benefit our students to make them successful. So here's to a great spring 2021 semester, and go Lions. Thank you very much.